Ladies and gentlemen, the following is scheduled for one fall. It is time for That Way Cool Wrestling Show! Good morning, everybody. Danny J here, along with Charles Gemini Gregory, LeGrand Onslaught Jackson's another edition of That Way Cool Wrestling Show. Make sure you're hitting the subscribe button right below the video. We are live today. You can get all the different notifications. Make sure you sign up for that. So that way we know when we have a new show coming up, that type of thing. You're going to want to check it out. Today, we have a great guest on us today. Lucha Underground, Impact Wrestling superstar, Super Mex himself, Hernandez. Hernandez, welcome to That Way Cool Wrestling Show.
What's going on, guys? Dude, you gotta bear with me, man. I've literally been up for like 10 minutes, bro.
Well, we appreciate you coming up. It's a shame, just to give everybody an understanding, so we don't think that this is really like just unorganized. He's out and he's in Texas, in San Antonio, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, San Antonio, Texas. We're in Philadelphia, and I did put on there the Eastern time, but everybody forgets that for some reason. Like everybody, because I have people in Chicago, Minnesota, like, oh, I didn't realize it was that early. But he's getting up early for us, so that's awesome. Thank you for jumping on the show. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, definitely.
Not a problem, guys.
I really appreciate it. Now, before we get into everything, I do want to say congratulations because you, my friend, are a newlywed.
Yes, I've been almost married a year now.
Almost a year.
Yeah.
Look at that. Almost a year.
April 27th. April 27th will be a year.
It'll be a year. Good for you. Congratulations to you. And let me tell you something. I see pictures of him and his wife. First of all, hats off to you. You got a nice looking wife. I ain't gonna lie.
Always marry young, bro. Always marry young.
Exactly.
And that's another thing. Happy belated birthday.
Yeah, that's right.
You're the 11th. I'm February 10th, but I got you by like 6 years.
But when you see pictures of it's cool because when you see pictures of him and his wife and stuff like that, you could tell she adores the hell out of him. But let me tell you something, bro. I'll be married 19 years this May, right? You're not going to see a bigger heel turn. And after a few years, when you're married to your wife, you thought Hogan's heel turn was big. Yeah. You wait to see your wife.
And I've been married 30 years in August, so that'll tell you something.
Yeah. So, good luck to you.
Good luck.
You guys are the real heroes because I don't want to put out there too much, but I have multiple marriages, so none of them lasted nowhere near that long. So
right now, ain't no wrong with it. Hey, if once you don't succeed, I guess that's it.
Let's get ready.
We're gonna get into real quick. But honestly, though, I do want to get in this back. I did bring it up for a reason. Your wife, she's not in the business, right?
Nope, never has been.
How does that impact you guys? Now, granted, I don't know what your schedule is like now in comparison to working for like a major fed for like a major whatever. But how is that impacting you guys?
It's easy because she's awesome. She's not a jealous person, and she has her own thing. She does she teaches competitive cheerleading, and she's also a teacher.
Oh, okay. So
she doesn't She's the only reason why she cares about wrestling now is because it brings money to the house. She don't really care.
Right. So she's got that I don't give a shit about you money is what it is.
As long as I have a job, she don't care.
There you go. Hey, that's good. Congratulations, you guys. You guys look so happy together. It's so nice. It was when I saw the pictures. They're actually very, very nice pictures. They have on Facebook and all. It's really nice.
I said my wife used to have one rule. After every match, I had to call just to let her know I was all right. That's all she cared about.
Yeah. She does that too, but
yeah. She said, "Did you hurt anything?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm good." She goes, "All right, see, I'll have dinner in the microwave whenever you get home." She said it all the time.
Yeah.
So
my wife tells me just to get out.
That's
just get out. I think she wants to get out long enough so she could change the locks. That's about it. But no, we're going to get down to the nitty gritty here. Now, it's great.
I want the first question.
He wants the first question.
I got to have the first question.
Go ahead.
watching the state of wrestling now, and I'm watching all these things, and I've watched you work for several years. Why haven't you been contacted by WWE? I need to know. You're big. No, you're big. You're agile. You got mic skills. I just need to know what the hell
it is. Hell.
Yeah, I watch all some of these other guys. Like I did 15 years, and I know, but I'm just going, wow, you would be a fit into that whole thing.
Well, to be honest, I never wanted to go to WWE ever.
Oh, okay.
And then, but my ex-wife at the time, that's all she wanted me to do was do WWE. I was doing like All Japan, Mexico, and stuff like that. I'm having a blast. But that's with you make good money, but great money is in WWE. I did a couple of those tryout matches, or like Sunday Night Heats or whatever they're called. I did. I wrestled like Crash Holly, Haku, and Joey Abs, and then I had a nice rapport with whoever I was talking to about getting a job there. And then one day, you got back then you had to send your resume and your VCR tapes about your match and all this. And Tom Pritchard called me out of the blue and just read me a new ass about how I didn't direct the tapes directly to him. I didn't know that the guy before him got fired. I had no idea. So he just went off of, you need to change your look. We already have a bald guy. You ever heard of Stone Cold Steve Austin? And this went off of me for like 5 or 10 minutes. Of course, I just woke up. And I did, I probably committed a career suicide. I go, sir, just don't ever call my house again, and just hung up.
God, you know what? That's not career suicide. That's just being a man.
Okay. I heard a lot of people. There was like
this was maybe 2002 or about 2002, 2003.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Frankie Kazarian went to WWE on a real high. I mean, he was real high in TNA. They gave him his push, world title and all. And when he went there, they wanted him to cut his hair, and he was just like, "Nah, I'm not going to do it." And some people were like, "Well, that's a dumb move on your part, man. Like, why wouldn't you do that?" And then he was just like, "Well, that's my gimmick. That's who I am." Blah blah blah. And then the funny thing is, years later, he's bald.
No, I mean, you going to Mexico and Japan, the closest to everything I've been to Mexico.
Yeah.
We did WCW down there in Jersey, which is Carlos Colon's. Was it W? Was that it?
WWC.
Yeah, we did that, and that was the first time being in that environment, and it was the most incredible environment. The fans were just fantastic. Yeah, and I can understand what you're saying. Like, you going to Mexico, you going here. It probably is a little bit more fun because those fans were like, at first I was like, they're going to kick my ass. Right. But they were, they just totally, it was nuts. It was me and my cousin. We're big, the two big black guys. And it was
good luck.
The chant, and it was crazy. You're laughing. I was like, I better watch what I say, but no, it was really, really a good time.
Especially with the Puerto Ricans and the Mexican crowds, dude,
it's great.
They will. I've had blocks of ice thrown at me in Mexico.
I had beer cans. I was wondering
but see, in Puerto Rico, you got to watch out because what they like to do is they like to pee in those beer cans and then throw them at you.
Oh shit! That's I probably lost my mind.
No, they'll do that to you for the whole match. Then after the show, they want to take a picture with you.
Yeah. That's when you gotta hug them extra tight. Be back.
But let's go back to, I guess, mid TNA. This is right after I think this is right after they seceded from the NWA. And you were tag team champ at that point. You got out of that, and now they were pushing you as a singles wrestler. They changed your gimmick slightly. Not really, but they gave you like tights instead of the street gimmick, that type of thing. And then they were giving you a push. And I was like, I'm getting behind this because you had that look to say this could be like the next champ, the next guy that can carry the company for X amount of months or whatever. And then like they had you a little bit, and then it kind of fell off. Walk us through that. Did that like change mid-hand? Was it never to be? Were you only going to be a chaser? What was the scenario with that?
It's real simple. I was supposed to be the guy.
Yeah.
And you have certain politicians and certain older talent and certain guys who come in that with their own regime, you know, and totally change it.
Right.
You know, how do you go from going for the world title, then going to whatever the secondary title was, and then to a tag guy, all in the span of 2 months.
Yeah, it was like you recorded and then it was like off. It was going.
We were rooting for you.
Well, you should have called me then. I'd have told you it wasn't happening then. So that, I mean, because I was frustrated. I mean, you got 4 different heads. Okay, you're the guy. Oh, you're not the guy. Well, you might be the guy. You're definitely, you know, all of them tell these different things. And so finally, I just went up to Dixie. I said, "Look, you have different people taking over now with the with Hogan and Bischoff era coming around." I said, "Can you just do me a favor? You don't have enough room at the top. Excuse me. Let me go to Mexico. Let me work with AAA. Come back as a, you know, say 6 months later." And with more a new look and with a new feel, and that's what I did. And that's what I did. I went from March of 2010 to December. I lived in Mexico City, away from my kids, everything for 8 months, dude.
Right.
And I come back, and it was even worse. Instead of being, you know, they put me in the the Mexican America deal.
Right.
Was so here you're trying to build me from a tag guy to a singles guy, and I come back and I'm in a worse tag team than I was when I left.
Yeah.
And I gave up. I gave up. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna take these white people's money and let's just go. And that's what happened.
Do you feel? I've been out for my grandson's 8. So I've been out for 8 years. I've been done. But I did over 18 years. Do you feel that the racism in wrestling is still very apparent? Or they hide it better? Or you just kind of accept it and play the shit off?
Well, anyone of color knows this is a white person's sport.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So if you know that going in, you can work with that because at least you know you're never going to be the top dude. You know what I'm saying? Because the sport is built just for the John Cena's, Hulk Hogan's, of guys like that. People can say, what about The Rock? Okay. 1, he's accepting to the rule, and 2, he's very, very popular with white people. So come on.
Well, that's what it comes down to too. Like, do they like him or not? Or do they accept him?
We used to go in, and they be trying to change us. You know, we were our crew combined weight was over 600 pounds. Mm-hmm. Me and my cousin, and I mean, I could move back then. I don't know about now. And I would tell them straight up, don't think I'm coming out here dancing. I'm not kissing no babies.
Yeah.
None of that. And they would get mad. I'm like, as long as you have my pay at the end of the show, we're going to be good. If you don't have my pay, I'm going to get my pay type thing. Yeah, you know.
Well, it's like it could be very humbling or whatever, how you want to call it, because I mean, like when I came back from Mexico, my Spanish was bad before, but I'm living in Mexico for 8 months, so my Spanish was really good by then. And you had me come back to the Mexican America group, and I have people from Nashville, Tennessee, in the office telling me that I don't talk Mexican enough. So if you see the beginning of the group, I'm the guy on the mic all the time, and then by after about a month or so, they give the Anarchia guy the mic. I'm like, what the hell is this?
I'm not.
And
he was a little bit more Mexican than you.
I ain't never hear
no,
that. That's
because
like them telling me I ain't black enough.
because I wouldn't do the over the top Eddie Guerrero talk.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that because, dude, I'm not gonna get my ass kicked when I come home because I'm being honest, I have a lot of Hispanic friends. I'm not gonna fucking come home and, hey man, why are you acting stupid on TV and talking like you're from like the 70s stereotypes? I mean, I said,
yeah, but that was one of our rules. We wanted to be more positive towards like there might be for some reason. My crowds were maybe 400, 500, 600. It wasn't much, but if there was one black kid, I always made sure I found them and did something with them. I don't know why, and people used to notice that, but I was just like, whatever. But we did it with all the kids. I love kids, that whole thing. But I always find that one or two or whatever, that group, and made sure that I acknowledged them. Yeah. And now I see what you're saying, dude. That's great. He said my Spanish. I'm still laughing about
because you can imagine it's like this like overstuffed white guy in an office
telling you.
He's like, listen, we did some surveys, marketing. We find that you're not Mexicano enough.
Well, the bad part about it is when I'm telling you this, what happened, you'd be surprised who was saying this to me, because you got to remember who was the bosses at the time.
Yeah. I'm thinking who's up there.
So it was, Dixie Carter was the main boss. Terry Taylor was the talent coordinator.
Yeah.
You had Bischoff and Hogan, vetoing anything that they didn't like.
Yeah.
So when you got guys like that, that's pretty rough.
Yeah, to say the least.
No, and I'll be very honest. I mean, before I did TNA, I did a couple. You do like 2 or 3 tours in Japan, or you wrestle in Mexico, but you still got to have a shoot job.
Yeah.
And my shoot job, I was unloading trucks for like $8 an hour, because if you got a show, you can take off because it was very flexible.
That's what I did. Yeah.
So, but I'm not about to go back to $8 an hour just because someone don't like the way I talk on TV. You know what I'm saying? We all can have principalities and stuff like that, but I'm living in a nice big house. I got big cars. My kids go to nice schools.
There you go.
So let me go on little trucks instead for principalities.
I know, dude. I work for UPS, man, so I got your feel, man. I know exactly what you're talking about. Now, you go after a while, you leave and you go to Lucha Underground.
Yeah,
Lucha was at the time, it was already probably a season in when it started really getting a buzz in like at least an hour area. And I had to actually find it because the Del Rey network wasn't on. Up here we have Comcast, so it wasn't on Comcast. It was on like Verizon or something like that. And like if you didn't know it,
I was so happy when I got Verizon.
Yeah, I had to find it. I had to find it through certain means on the internet. And then I finally get to watch an episode, and there you are. I'm like, oh, that's where he went, right? So now I'm watching. I'm like, okay. And the funny thing about that was, and this was a number of years, this might have been like season 2, I think, or something like that. It was very WWE / Spanish soap opera. And I was like, all right, this is an interesting take on wrestling.
I loved it personally.
But I'm like, I didn't get to, you weren't there long enough in the season that I jumped into for me to really see what you did in there. But I know that they did a lot of like acting behind the scenes. How was that different than you just doing regular wrestling shows?
I was in season 1 and season 4. Okay. Season 1 was the funny thing about for season 1. I was supposed to be a different character, so like I did dark matches before the tapings,
right.
as myself, because I was supposed to be a masked character, and they kept holding off when they're going to debut it. Yeah. And then finally they had a little issue with someone that wanted to be a heel against Puma, the Ricochet guy.
Yeah.
And I said, dude, I'll do it. I ain't scared. And that's why they canned me being the mask guy. Just let me be me.
Right.
But Christopher Joseph, and he was the main writer. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's anything you liked about Lucha Underground, he's 100% responsible, because I mean he made that look like wrestling with an action B movie.
Yeah, it really was. Like, remember those movies with who was that guy, Sweet Sugar or something like that? He was a boxer.
Yeah,
Too Sweet. Come on now.
That's it, right? That's what it looked like. Baby. That's what it looked like.
Sweet Sugar.
Whatever that fucking. But no, it was really funny. And then, like, I saw you come back, and then there was some kind of contractual confliction or something like that.
Oh, that's from what I can legally say. I'll just tell you this: I was given my release.
Yeah.
But the person who's did give me the release did not, didn't do the right thing. So I got jacked.
Right. Okay.
I got more than a hand slap, bro. I got killed. Contract. I mean, I lost that. I lost the LU contract, the TNA contract. Indies wouldn't book me for about 6 months because I was that hot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Because you were on for you were on probably Impact TV for what, maybe 2
weeks
or something like that, right? Yeah. And then it was like they were going, and all of a sudden it was like, forget about that.
Oh yeah, there was then the third week that I was on there, they had to blur all my visions on my parents' house.
Oh wow,
was that deep?
Yeah, it was we can get that we can get to that at a later date, but because I mean, now this that's like 4 years ago. It's funny now. It wasn't funny then. But I mean, it was just a great time because I mean, there was a lot of matches. Because I mean, remember TNA? They filmed like the whole week for like a month.
Yeah, right.
I mean, they filmed a week of TV for the whole for like there was like 2 or 3 episodes a day for like 4 days. So I mean, there was a cage match I had with Bobby Lashley that was awesome that no one's ever going to see.
Right.
And I mean, there was a lot of cool matches that I had with TNA when I came back that will never be shown because of the little lawsuit problems.
Oh, that's crazy. And it's funny you say that because I was going to say someone of your stature, of your size, and your mobility, I would have loved to seen you against a Bobby Lashley because Bobby Lashley could have used you as a world title chaser when he was the champion in that case. And I thought that would have been phenomenal.
What
a great look that would have had. Two big guys. And
they don't like what I say. You could have kind of carried him on the charisma side.
Yeah.
His charisma is not great. But you know how to take the mic and work the crowd a little bit better than I go say a lot better than him.
You can see that in his in his Impact Wrestling versus WWE. He's like next to nothing in WWE.
He's not a mic guy. He's just not a mic guy.
Yeah.
I wish I could talk to him and tell him just to stop smiling. But he'd be all right, but
well, that's just how his personality is. I mean,
he's you can tell.
He's like a Kurt Angle or Brock Lesnar. He's a real badass. So I mean,
and he knows it. And you're like,
that's why you smile.
Yeah, you smile. So right now, what are you focused on now, and where are you working at mainly at this point in time?
Me and Homicide, we took some time off. We was in Impact for like 4 months.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we had they wanted us to do the LAX versus the new LAX stuff, and that was kind of cool, I guess. Okay. And we committed financial suicide by doing a verbal agreement.
Wow.
We'll come in for a discounted price, but after 3 months, when you know we're still the man and the tag teams, then you're going to pay us right. Yeah. And like a dumbass, we said yes, and they said yes. Okay. So we're having these matches with the new LAX kids, which are really good kids.
They are.
And 3 months passed, no merch for us. I'm like, we just losing every match, and people are still screaming for OGs. You know, we're still over.
Yeah. Well, next
so just wait. So we waited another month, and no raise, no. And then they wouldn't even guarantee the dates. I said, okay, you know what? We're gone. Thank you very much. And that was the end of August. Oh no, I'm sorry, the end of October.
Right.
That's when we left. And you know, I'm doing some indies, and I got something coming up. I really can't say what it is, but it's gonna be pretty cool. It's I'll be filming a project in Mexico City for about 8 months.
Oh, okay. Congratulations.
Nice.
Well, next time you talk to Homicide, I know he'll definitely remember this. There's no doubt about it in my mind. We were doing Pro Wrestling Unplugged some years ago, and something happened in the locker room. I'm not going to say with who, but two jackasses who like to be all hied up, and me and my partner, and we were about to go into it. Homicide turns. He's right behind me, and he goes, "Brother, I got your back." And I turned around because I didn't know who was sitting there.
Yeah.
Him, because he knew I was right. He goes,
"Yeah,
I got your back." And I had to turn around and say, "Nah, I appreciate that," because I was about to tear that locker room up. You know, it was that bad. But I still remember to this day, I turned around, he's sitting there, and he's like, "Yeah, I got your back," you know. And I was like, "Yeah, my man right there." You know, you always do the heads up when you see him. But I always when I see him after that, that was my man. I had to, you know, "Hey, what's up, brother? Keep on going."
Ultimate respect.
Yeah, but he said, "I got your back," because we was about to tear that locker room up. It was bad. It was bad.
Inside has your back, bro. No one's coming out unscathed. I promise you. There's no way.
You know, I'm mad. He goes, "Yo, I got your back," because he knew he had watched everything, and I'll never forget. I was like, and you can see everyone in the locker room. I'm not small. My partners are small. And everyone had this look, and they kind of shifted, right? And because I was like, I used to tell dudes all the time, "Look, I could take it or leave it. I got a job, you know, I got kids, you know, but you guys are starting to believe your gimmick." I was like, "Stop believing your gimmick." I used to tell dudes that shit all the time. Stop believing your gimmick. Stop believing your gimmick.
It's funny when you talk about when they brought you in against the new LAX. It was kind of
that was good.
It harkened back to the original Midnight Express versus the Midnight Express back in WCW. And it was like Kingston was like the Paulie Dangerously, and Conan was the Jim Cornette. And I was like, as an older wrestling fan, I get this. I get this whole thing. Now, whether or not that was their intent, I don't know, but that's how it came off to me. That was the first thing I thought of was, civil war amongst the Midnight Expresses. And I said, now we're getting it in the Latino format, right? And I was like, I said to myself, though, I don't think these fans will get it. And, I know you guys as older fans, you guys obviously know where it's all coming from, which is one thing. But like I said, I don't know that these fans are going to appreciate what they're actually seeing here, because you and Homicide as LAX were a dominant tag team on television. It really was a dominant thing to see.
Yes.
You guys against AJ and Christopher Daniels, they were great matches.
Dude, every time y'all stepped in the ring, it was magic.
It was good to watch. Very. And you had the speed and power, then you had the speed on your side. And you did a couple moves. I was surprised. I said, "Damn, he's big and he can move like that."
But when they brought in, and it's funny because
I had to say it. I was like, "Damn, he can move."
LAX went through a lot of different changes and stuff like that. When you and Homicide were not there, and they had what's his face that you mentioned, and somebody else.
It wasn't the same.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't the same. It was.
I was the third. I think the third member of LAX.
Yeah, what were the other two? Was that you mentioned?
It was Apollo from Puerto Rico.
Okay.
And then Ricky Vega, a local guy from Florida.
Right. And then they were going against Inc. at that time, which was fantastic. But that was what's his name from 3 Count?
Yeah.
And the military guy.
No, they were going. No. It was the original LX. They were going. It was even worse. They were going against what the fuck is his name?
Exactly.
The Road Dogg, the guy Road Dogg.
Oh yeah.
And his dad,
Oh,
Bob Armstrong.
Right. Yes. That's right. Because Bob Armstrong came in.
Yeah.
When he was Jesse James or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, Jesse James and Bullet Bob.
Damn.
Yeah.
I remember that now.
And nobody cared.
No.
And nobody. I mean, that was just a filler.
Isn't that when they brought in Kip?
Yeah.
James.
Yeah.
James.
But it was brutal because Apollo was having problems making flights from Puerto Rico to Orlando, which is probably like 10 flights a day, and he was having problems making those flights. So do the math. And then they called me because I was in Mexico. I was in Mexico, and hey, can you come to this LAX thing? I go, dude, you ain't called me in 3 years. No. And for real. And then so
hold
come
on.
on.
If they threw a number at you, would you have been like, okay?
No, this is before the big big paydays came. This is like 2005 and 6.
Oh, okay.
And so I was doing a mass versus mass match, which is a good money.
Yeah.
And I said, well, this thing called me in January. He said, hey, Apollo is got to let go because he can't make his flights, and we need a big guy. Of course, they didn't want to say big Mexican guy, but they said we need a big guy to take his place. And I said no, and I go, when this angle is over, it'll be over in March. Yes, I'll be available. So if you need someone in March, call me then.
Right.
I mean, you didn't call me in 3 years, so why would I care?
Right.
And so I mean, teenagers have no steam at the time, and so they got this local guy, Ricky Vega, to do the spot. And for whatever reason, it wasn't working out. And they finally said, look, can you just come one time? We got you a flight. We'll give you X amount of dollars. Just come show up one time, see what it's about. If you don't like it, you don't do it no more.
Okay.
So, like a dumbass, I said yes. And, when you get, they just got moved to a better TV channel, and you got 5 guys talking in different ways to, like a used car salesman trying to get you to get in on it. And I signed before I even had my first match.
Oh, okay.
And they had a match with the Ricky Vega and the Homicide, and the Ricky Vega guy lost the match, and they beat him up, and they took his Puerto Rican shirt off him, and they buried him and stuff. And then they do like two tapings a day, right? So as soon as 30 minutes later, me and Homicide get thrown out there as LAX, no intro, no reason why I'm in the group. And that's how it started, dude. It was ridiculous. They didn't have a name for me for like the first three matches I had there. But finally, I said, I'll just go by my last name, so at least you can't take that. So that's why everyone else has different names, and I have my last name.
Got it.
Yeah.
Here we have Homicide and his partner.
No, it was just LAX. It was just LAX. And they have the little, when you're coming down the entrance, as his name Homicide on there, just mine had nothing.
Wow.
Dude, it was 06 was a crazy deal, man, because I remember we had that one match, and then we would have a lot of times we would be staying by the Spanish announce table, not doing nothing.
Okay.
Right.
And then finally, I remember this was from March to August, we probably had 2 or 3 matches. just staying there getting paid.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Finally, Ron Killings needed, he was on pay-per-view but didn't have a match. So they go, can Homicide wrestle Ron Killings? And then they put where Sanjay, can Sanjay be in the match too? So and then they put me in the match. So that was in August, that August pay-per-view, and if we had a bad match, bro, we were fired.
Yeah.
We were gonna get. I'll tell you right to y'all. Well, in the FaceTime, we were gonna get fired because they were paying us for 5 months to stand Spanish table, and it was me and Homicide versus Ron and Sanjay, and we killed it, dude.
Yeah,
we killed it in that match, and can you imagine? We go from standing on a Spanish announce table, not doing anything, taking these people's money and eating their free catering food, and they're just looking at me with death eyes because they know they can't fire us because it's the ethnic. If we were white, we'd have been fired. Easy. You know what I'm saying? Because you got these guys coming for free catering. They don't do nothing but get dressed and stand over there by the Spanish announce table. They're hot. No, because we're protecting Conan and the other Spanish announcer.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like people are gonna jump the rail for that, So we had that match with Sanjay and Ron, and it was magic. I mean, I give 1,000% props to Homicide. He is the man. And, I was like, I was wrestling Japanese style, Lucha style. I didn't know what style I had. I'll be honest, I didn't know what style I had. And he said, "Man, just listen to me and listen to me the whole match, and we're gonna be good." Okay. And we tore it down, dude. He has an incredible wrestling mind. For people who don't know this, I mean, Homicide should have a job in WWE or some big company, just putting matches together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just putting matches together, not taking away from his wrestling ability or what he can do in the ring. Just his wrestling mind. He can make anybody look like somebody.
Yes. Yeah. I remember, you know what? You're saying that, and that same day when we had that little issue, you're talking about your match. He was sitting over there, he goes, "You should use this ending." You sit there and you go, "Oh, shit. Thanks." And he just smiled and went on about his business, and we used the ending, Yeah. And you're just like, "Oh, yeah." And when you get out there, you're like, that makes a lot of sense. We were trying to be way too, complicated. You're trying to, he said, "You're big." Just,
But you know what it comes down to, too? Yes. And when you were doing it,
that's crazy.
I used to write with you, try and write with you and stuff like that as well. A lot of it's old school mentality. A lot of people, and we always harken on this show, we always harken back to the 80s and the 70s and stuff like that.
We're big about old school, new school.
Yeah, but in old school, it made sense because we weren't so much sports entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
It was more, it's an athletic event. Yeah. This is rankings. Shawn, you're the number 15th ranked guy for such and such title, whatever it was, right? And just having that kind of athletic writing, I said stuff has to make sense. I can't physically watch WWE at all. I can't physically watch it because the writing's so poor, and these invisible cameramen that are just catching storylines, and all that BS. I go back to watching, recently we had in the last episode we had Blake Chadwick from Ring Warriors on. And Ring Warriors was doing it old school, where we had a commentator in the back. One guy came in, talk. Thank you very much. Guy came in from the right. Now he's talking. It was old school. And I'm like, this is the way you cut promos. This is the way you put this stuff here. Because at the end of the day, I want to watch you wrestle. As a wrestling fan, that's what I want to do. It's what got me into wrestling. It's what got everybody, here into wrestling. I'm sure you and everybody else. You don't just get into this because it's a job choice.
No.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I mean, same what Danny just said. How do you feel? Like I watch, and like I said, I did some time, but you got some of these guys that come out of nowhere, never worked the indies, never paid their dues, and then you go. I've gone to shows. And I'm looking at this guy, and they're talking like their shit don't stink, and I'm like, you probably never even set up a ring, and it's hard for me to respect guys like that because I'm like, you never set up a ring. I remember setting up a ring, waiting around, happy to get booked, staying, breaking down the ring, and they give you $10. All right.
Yeah.
That was just the way it was. Nowadays, it's just completely different. How do you feel? I know you've been around for a little bit because I've been watching. How do you feel about some of these new school guys against what I have to say you are? You know, you've been there. You've seen it. I'm not saying it like that, but you understand you've traveled back and forth.
Basically, to break it down, guys who've paid dues as opposed to guys who didn't.
Yeah, basically. How do you feel about that whole?
I'll be honest. If you got trained after, say, 2005, I don't like you.
Okay.
You got to point though,
because they don't.
No. I mean, because
they don't sell shit. So
let me give you a real easy story. I went when I was going. Remember, I told you guys I was going to Mexico a lot.
Yeah.
You need a visa, or you're going to have problems down there, even with the passport, because you can be on the border no problem, but once you start going more deeper to Mexico, you need a visa, right. Whether it's a working visa or a travel visa, doesn't matter. Visitor's visa doesn't matter. So I would take the bus at 3:30 in the morning from Houston, Texas, to Eagle Pass, which is 8 hours.
Right.
Just to get the visa.
Okay.
Then it was a border to Eagle Pass is a border town here in Texas. I would cross the border and then take a cab from Piedras Negras to Laredo, which is 2.5 hours. Just to take a bus 3 hours to Monterey for a show that starts at 6.
Damn, jeez.
Oh wow.
So I would get there. I would leave at 3:30, and I would get to Monterey by 3:30 p.m.
Right.
And I would have to do that every 6 weeks when the visa was expired.
Yeah.
And that was just due, so $400 show. How many of these kids would do that now?
None.
And ain't nobody's doing that. No one's doing this.
I remember traveling 8 hours and get there and be lucky to get gas money.
What I'm saying is, who's gonna, everyone says, yeah, I want to go to Mexico. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
No, you don't, bro. Because, everyone, if you know anything about the news or if you can read, it can be dangerous there.
That's rough.
And the less Spanish you know,
the worse.
The more things can be, bad for you, because Mexico was a beautiful place, beautiful culture, beautiful women, food, everything. Right. But it's also, everything has a price. Yeah. So if you're a dumbass and say you want to, that's like all those kids get kidnapped during spring break and get killed, because why can't you just, if you need weed or you need coke, take a small amount. You know what I'm saying? You can go to any beach and get like a bump of coke for like $10.
Yeah.
So these dumbasses, the ones that get kidnapped, will say, well, man, if we can get a bump for $10, let's just get like a whole 8-ball. And guess what? Well, you got to go to this special area way over here, and they drive you. No, it's common sense. It's common sense. If you got to take like a fucking 30-minute drive to go get an 8-ball, then maybe you should be kidnapped. Maybe you should be FaceTiming your mom. Please send 50,000, or they're gonna chop my leg off.
Yeah. If they want 8-ball that bad, they can call my cousin.
But you see what I'm saying? Basically, if you do everything in moderation, dude. So you're too lazy, you can't come out of your hotel room to get another bump. You need a whole 8-ball, and wonder why you got kidnapped. I wonder why.
That's probably the best analogy I've ever heard in my entire life. Because that's an analogy.
This show will never have another conversation,
dude.
No, but I've been wrestling Mexico off and on since 2002.
Okay.
And I'll be very honest with you. I'm third generation, Hispanic, dude. No one speaking Spanish unless at the time no one speaking Spanish unless I had to. Maybe my grandma spoke it to me, so I didn't know. I knew this much Spanish as you guys knew when I started going to Mexico. So, which is really bad because my last name's Hernandez, so I got beyond picked on, beyond screwed with. So I know. So when these, I see these dumbass guys, hey, let's go to. In the border was this called Laredo. This Nuevo Laredo was a town called Boys Town, where all the Rangers would cross the border and get their sons their first woman.
Okay,
it was it's a brothel place,
right?
So so after wrestling shows, that's where everyone would go to in that town. All the wrestlers, because you can get drunk and pick up women and stuff like this.
Yeah.
But then on the other, so there's two sides. It looks like what you would see like in the movie Tombstone.
Yeah.
A dirt road, and there's hotels over here, hotels on the other side, hotels and bars on both sides. Why is it that there are certain dudes that wouldn't go where these chicks were, because it costs like $40 or $50 to spend time with them or whatever. They'll go across the street for it's only $10.
Get what you pay for,
right?
and that's why, and they wonder why they were getting the girls that were 36, 26, 36 plus 9.
Plus 9.
I don't know what kind of show this is. So if you get, if you know what plus 9, you have to know.
You are fine.
Nah.
You kill it.
It's basically a training. It's a training deal.
I haven't heard that now. The way you said that in years. Man. Wow.
This was the episode.
This might be the realest episode we've done in a long time.
I just want to hang out with him now.
Anytime if you ever come to Philly, right? You let us
No. I will not go to Philly on purpose again.
Damn.
Dude.
Well, hold on. I'm in the suburbs, right? I ain't gonna lie, I'm suburbanited, but I know a couple bars who go hang out, get the drink.
No. Homicide took me to Philly one time.
Yeah.
Oh, you messed up right there.
Yeah.
I know. And dude, okay, you gotta realize I live in Texas. Yes, you can carry a gun on you in person and stuff like that. But I've never been to a bar. He took me to this bar. It was like after hours place that they pat you down just to go inside.
No, he went to.
I think I know.
No, physically pat you down.
He went to Delilah's.
Let's not mention names.
So
we can't mention names there, but our boy used to. My partner was the manager there. That's all I'm saying.
So I go inside. I'm really scared because they pat you down. I go inside. There's a chick that wants to dance with me. She's hot. So, like a dumbass, I go dance with her. Those girls are like want to raise both arms like this and dance.
Yeah.
So I start going low, and the BO knocked me off my feet.
Yeah.
So I walked up the dance floor. As soon as I walk up the dance floor, this guy was wigging out from the bathroom. The DJ pulls a knife from the back of his pants and puts a gun to his head to get him to calm down.
Wow.
It's like a movie. I'm froze. I'm fucking froze against the wall. I go, I got kids. I got wife and kid. I'm done. I'm gonna get killed right here. So
I hate to tell you that DJ is an ex-wrestler. He's an ex-wrestler.
So I go outside to relax, to try to breathe. Yeah. And I hear someone like really grunting really hard.
Yeah.
There's like a gas station across the street. This big bitch is taking a shit by the dumpster.
Oh
yeah.
So I go. So that's my experience of going to Philly.
I got
So excuse me if I don't want to if I don't want to go back.
Let's take it to the college bar instead.
They'll just be doing all that inside the bar. No. If you come to Philly, what we'll do as a group, we'll take you someplace way better than that.
Nice.
It'll be on the bus.
You were down a place where we used to hang out after shows also.
Yeah.
A lot of us used to work there. We actually worked there. We used to work there. Yeah, it was a quick $150 for like 4 hours. You couldn't beat it. You know what I mean? Yeah, so
you East Coast guys are just on a different planet, man. And I give you mad love. You got just for you guys to wake up every day and make it through life without getting shot or jumped. I don't know how y'all do it, because I know for a fact if I lived in the East Coast if I grew up in the East Coast, I'd be dead 15, maybe 16, because those people are just out there. If you talk shit, I remember I was in New York for that. Wait a minute, it was Philly too. It was the pay-per-view in Philly. Yes. So it was at a pay-per-view in Philly for TNA. And we went to the strip club afterwards.
Yeah.
No, I don't know which one it was. And then we went to the McDonald's and sober up.
Yeah.
And I'm just joking with my friends. I'm taking this, and this, and then wherever these gay Cali guys want from behind me, I got theirs too.
yeah.
Right.
And just joking around. And some guy behind my friends was saying, "Hey, don't talk about Cali." I do. These are my friends. If they're gay, cool. But fuck you. It's not about you. I'm buying their food, not yours. Shut up.
Yep.
Right.
And he goes, I'm telling you, don't talk about Cali. I go, you know what? Fuck you and Cali.
Right.
So I get my food, start walking out. This motherfucker turns around, follows me, and tries to pull his gun out of his waistband.
Oh.
Wow.
If it wasn't for a homicide, you wouldn't be talking to me right now.
Wait a minute. How bad did y'all beat him down? Tell the truth, because I'd have whooped his ass.
You can't do that because it was right at the time where everyone's getting drunk. I mean, I'm looking straight out the door, and there's a cop with one of those wooden sticks.
Oh, boot cop.
Yeah, boot
carrying/dragging these guys across the sidewalk. And go,
now, for the record, he was actually talking about Cali, so that doesn't mean he was actually from Cali.
So he's a West Coast guy who was for us East Coast guys.
Yeah, that's all.
All I know is all I know. Okay, the 2 times I'm in Philly, I don't want to go back.
They're all not like that. Just so you know, we're not.
Not all like that. No, that's really that would scare me.
Okay, but you guys got to realize I'm 2 for 2.
I get you.
Oh, bro,
You gotta get that
get the hat trick.
Now, let's talk about AEW for a second. This is now the big thing. I was very.
I was trying to stay away because I wanted to ask was he getting signed. But.
Well, I'll get into it.
And then he's saying that he got something.
Well, if
we
you
don't
can't
want to
talk about it,
no, it has to do with the stuff that I'm doing in Mexico City is the nice I can do. I mean, that's the only thing I really can say is it's a reality show.
Okay, good.
So, I mean, I was very excited when the NWA were making plans to do stuff and they were starting to sign talent, stuff like that. And then, unfortunately, they fell off to nothing. And I think a lot of that has to do with Billy Corrigan's music schedule, that type of thing. Unfortunately, because honestly, I thought that was going to be a great uprising of the NWA. We were all very excited about that. So then that doesn't really happen per se. They have a couple good pay-per-views and that's it. AEW, whether or not it's happening or not, they're in talks with Turner. The memes out there are like, it's going to be the second coming of WCW, blah, 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 this, that, and other thing. And you learn from the past, obviously. But what is your thought on AEW? Have you thought about going there? I mean, that's something where they're paying roughly close to WWE contracts, that type of thing. What is your thoughts on that?
I don't have any thoughts on it. I'll be honest with you guys. If I don't, I don't want to go back on TV unless I'm doing it again with Homicide.
Okay.
If that doesn't work out again, I'm good.
You guys can go though, man.
You absolutely can.
Because you and the new LAX are great. They are one of the top tag teams out today. They really, really are. But when you and Homicide came in, and I watched that match and all, you guys, it's obviously you guys are a little older now, and you're obviously a lot bigger than they are. But you guys could move just as well as them. And LAX has that kind of reputation of being at high impact, for lack of a better term, type of tag team. You guys did it more smash mouth.
Yeah.
A little bit of lucha, whereas they're more lucha on top of it. But either way, either team or either version, you can sit there and say, holy shit. I mean, it's a win-win. You know what I mean? And you guys are different enough to say, oh, well, I like that version better than this version. You know what I mean? Like, I like Sweet Stan versus Dennis Condrey, whatever. But like you guys, it's like, well, they're two totally separate tag teams, work a totally separate way, but can still go. So, I mean, hats off to you guys, first off, for being able to do that in the first place. But, I would like to see you guys do something else. I like to see you guys working more. Let me ask you this. Impact decides to go to the Pursuit channel, which I don't even know what that is. I think it's on like the speaking spells and shit like that. Like whatever. And I even try and go on and get links to see if I can watch Impact Wrestling through links. And you can even get links up. So that's how bad this channel is. You can even get the episodes.
Wait a minute, man. I watch that channel all the time for my hunting show.
For your hunting show.
Yeah,
well,
that's
you can
what it
have
is.
it. Yeah, Hunting Square.
Yeah.
It's a hunting channel. I think, and I don't know if you have any insight. You might not have any insight on this at all. But my assumption is that the Pop contract was coming up. They need to stay on television for whatever reason. Well, obviously I know what reason, but like for whatever reason. And instead of not having something concrete, let's go with what we had, because apparently Pursuit is in some sort of affiliation with that Fight TV that they've been involved with forever.
Yeah.
So it was like, I equate it to when Jason Newsted left Metallica and they got the new bassist in there, they put out Saint Anger, which was a horrible album, but they did it just to say, hey, we're still here. We're still relevant. And it kind of seemed the same way with Impact Wrestling. Say, hey, we're still on TV. I don't know if you can find us, but we're still on TV. That type of thing. It was still on TV.
Let's just back up a little bit. When I went back to Impact in June, me and Homicide sat up in the stands. I mean, where the fans are before the show started, and see all these guys in the ring going over their matches. And I looked at him. I go, dude, you asked me to come back. I only came back because I wanted to work with you again. Okay. We only got 3 hours. People don't maybe not realize this. Throughout all these years, me and Homicide only had a 06, 07, 08 TV run.
Right.
And before they broke us up and stuff like that. So yes, we were LAX, but we haven't been LAX. It's like maybe a few times in 09.
Yeah.
So we're watching. I'm sitting there watching it, and he's going. His mind's just racing a million times a minute because he likes to put stuff together, and he's watching how they're putting stuff together. And I gave up. I said, bro, what the fuck are we watching? I go. He goes, what are you talking about? I go, dude, you asked me to come back to do this, and we're gonna do this. No problem. Whatever you want. But we're in wrestling hell. We're literally in wrestling hell. Yeah. I don't know none of those guys in the ring. Because I'm not being mean. Please don't think me mean, because I don't feel like I don't watch WWE. Unless I'm on the show. I'm not watching it. Why would I watch it?
Yeah.
I'm an old man. I know what I like to watch. I don't want to watch some dude.
I watch for the
show. So we're watching these guys. I go, dude. He goes, what are you talking about? I go, we're in wrestling hell. You know what I'm saying? Whatever we did in our past wrestling life, AJ Styles, Bobby Roode, Samoa Joe, Eric Young, they get to go to wrestling heaven and make money and make a lot of money. I'm not BB. They're making money, Devon Dudley, all those guys are making money, and whatever the fuck we did wrong, we're in wrestling purgatory with these fucking jerk offs.
Right.
I 17, 18 years ago, I went to WB catering. That shit was awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
I went back to the catering and the Impact. That in June, the same place. You get like maybe one serving of everything, and when it finally our turn to get a chicken sandwich, the chicken was cold. I'm like, what the? I go, so it's not the same. It's not the same, So for people who think the Impact is awesome and don't think I'm dissing Impact because they're just going whatever their budget can get them.
Oh yeah,
I understand this.
Yeah,
but every single person that you see, whether they're a commentator, whether there's a wrestler, whether it's a ref, whether it's the guy put up the ring, they're just doing an audition for WWE.
Yeah.
That's all they're doing. So, all those people say, "Oh, I'm happy in Impact." Shut the hell up.
Lying.
You're only saying that because it's helping you get more indie bookings.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You're using it for the exposure to indie bookings, but dude, I'm in my 40s now. I don't need no fucking exposure.
Yeah.
And actually, more people follow RH than Impact right now.
You know what I'm saying? I don't understand. If you notice, every single person, if Impact is so awesome, why did Biss and Sanjay Dutt leave?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they had the keys to the office. They were the hire fire guy. They were, who gets on TV, who don't get on TV, who gets pushed, who don't get pushed. I mean, you had all that. They had all that pull. You don't see them stay.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
they did a good thing, I thought, because it goes back to something that Billy Corgan said in an interview. He said, "Listen, there is not forget WCW, okay? There is not a number two.
Nope.
Period. WWE is a $1 trillion conglomerate, okay? There is no number two. So the only thing you can do as a federation is to put out something alternative. It kind of mirrors something that Paul Heyman said with ECW, to say, we're not going to do that half-ass. We're going to do this very well, in a sense. Because it's like, I can't compete with you, so the only thing I can do is do what I can do and hope you like it, type of thing. Yeah. So with these open door policies, because now I see that Impact is trying to play with Major League Wrestling, which I love Major League Wrestling. I've been watching that now for the last year or so. That's a great little fed. And I was actually saying to myself, I said, when we were setting up this interview, I said, it would be really cool if they brought you down in Major League Wrestling with that Selena De La Renta and have you work with that, because they work the Lucha Brothers and Hernandez and stuff like that. And they got that kid, Ricky Martinez, who's actually not based, like a little spark plug looking dude. I said that would be actually, and they got Low Key down there, and stuff like that. But the show is just really, really good. And then they feed in Impact wrestlers on there, and apparently MLW guys are going to Impact a little bit, and they're doing this like open door policy, which is kind of cool because everybody has to work, and thank God that they're letting people do that, so you can work. But with those types of
real quick, for you to say everyone has to work, if you're on TV, why do you you shouldn't have to work?
There you go.
I'm saying, if you're on TV, before you say, I'm not trying to be rude when you said MLW and Impact and XYZ are working together, dude. Back in the day when I was in Impact, when Impact was doing well, they didn't work for no one. They let us do indies on the side. That was like our bonus money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So please, when people say, wrestling's awesome. No, it's not awesome. If MLW and Impact and XYZ all have to work together just to stay afloat, then maybe you should do something else with your money.
There you go.
You are absolutely right. You made a very good point.
I don't understand. I'm not, if you can see, I'm a little bit jaded about people saying that wrestling is so great these days.
Right.
The only reason why people saying it's great is because you get, say, the Impact World Champion. He'll wrestle for $300 on your fucking indie show. So now you think wrestling's doing great because he's on TV and I can have him on my show for like whatever the fuck the price is.
Right.
You see when WWE has someone at the Wizard World or somewhere at an autograph place, it's like 10, 20 grand just to see those guys there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You got these guys doing MLW Impact, whatever it is, and for under $1,000, let's be realistic. For under $1,000, that guy can be at your show.
There you go.
True.
You made a great point.
So when it comes down to, if you got to work a second job, Danny, it's bullshit.
That's what it is.
Exactly.
But you have to realize, these the younger kids that are on the Impact stuff like this, they don't understand. I go, here I am when I was in the Impact at their age. This house.
Yeah.
This house.
Yep.
I can afford it. Where these other kids, they have to work indie shows and they still live at home with mom, or they have to share an apartment with somebody, but yet they're Impact stars.
Right.
How are you a star? How are you a star when you have to? When
you gotta.
It all equates. You're absolutely
where you have to sign. You have to wrestle 12 to 15 times on the Indies a month.
Just to make ends meet.
Just to make $3-4 grand. You know what I'm saying? I remember when TNA was going hot and heavy, me and Homicide would do about 4 or 5 indies a month, maybe. And dude, that was
money.
That was they had to pay us decent, put up a nice hotel, nice decent flight. And we used that money each quarter. I mean, every quarter I was getting like a check for like 4 or 5 grand. Just from all the indies you did for that quarter.
Yeah.
And so I mean, for these guys, I just laugh. I think it's the funniest thing ever. Oh yeah, well, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I go, well, how much are you making? And I'm not gonna put nobody on blast, but people ask, hey man, I'll tell you this right now. Someone who's a champion. As someone's a champion, he's wrestled in Impact, Lucha Underground, and TNA, so that kind of narrows it out. I mean, NWA.
Yeah.
Called me. Hey, man, I'm having problems getting booked. I go, what's up? I go, I don't know. And he goes, well, are you charging too much? He goes, well, I used to do shows for $325, but I want $350. I go, wow. Are you saying $350? 3,500 or no? You're saying $350, and you're on all 3 channels.
Mm-hmm.
You're on all 3 channels.
Mm-hmm. Wait a minute, I got one for you, Hernandez.
I'll be very honest with you, dude. I go do figure it out. I hung up on them. I go, dude, come on, bro, come the fuck on.
Yeah.
Even now, when guys come to town that I know and they're gonna be in town.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm on the main line. I got a pretty big house. I got a good gig, excellent gig, this, that, and all that.
Yeah.
Oh, you think I can come stay at your house? My wife be like, yeah, I don't give a shit. My wife's good with that, My wife's always been good with that. And I was one of the guys, yeah, no problem, But my grandkids are going to be over, so don't make too much noise. And that's how it is to this point now.
Yeah.
But they just don't get it, Ask for the hotel, dude. Don't let them, but I'm all right with it. I don't care. I like seeing the guys and talking, sitting down talking shit, But yeah, what you just said hit it right on the head. Just hit it right on the head.
But it's right, though. He's so right.
He's so right.
This business has changed, and I promise you, it's not for the better. Because
you said $325, I should get $250. That was
right.
And this gentleman, I want to put him on blast. He's such a great dude. He's on Impact. He's on LU, and he's on the NWA shows.
Damn.
Barely get $350.
Well, hold up, fellas. I don't mean to cut this short, but we've gone over.
We've gone over.
Yeah, we've gone over.
Yeah, we set a timer so we don't bug you. And
the timer's
we
over.
know you got stuff that you
We
have
know
to get
this is a
prepped for
great
and
show.
everything. We want to give you an opportunity to plug whatever you want to plug.
Whatever you want to plug.
Put it out there.
This is live, by the way, Shawn. So if you whatever you're doing today, you can plug that too.
Yeah.
Oh. Whenever
going back to sleep.
I want to, but dude, I saw this the U of H for the college basketball. They're 27-1 now, dude. I want to check that out.
Okay.
But no, I got a meet and greet at where's it at? At in Kyle, Texas.
Okay.
It's at this HEB. It's a big shopping chain of grocery stores here in Texas, but it's at the Cricket, where people got cheap phones. So I'll be at Cricket, doing a meet and greet.
Wait a minute! I can't laugh at you because up here I just seen little girls walking past the Cricket store. Ambrose is doing one there this week.
Is it really?
Yeah, I just seen it. Yeah.
Cricket, Boost, Metro, all those like that.
They got money.
But dude, you guys were awesome, man, and I much appreciated it. It was a very, very entertaining morning. Thank you for getting my day start off great, man.
We appreciate you getting up because, like I said, if it was me,
really.
But we appreciate the time. Anytime you got anything to say, you hit us. We'll put it up for you.
Dude,
awesome.
Whenever you want to come back on, let us know, and we will be.
I'll be happy to get you on. I got people asking to come back. I'm not trying to boost the show, but I'm just saying I got past guests that are saying, "Hey, when can I come back on?" Because we try and keep it fun. We try and keep it light, and it's a fun little conversation, So.
Bro, whenever you got time, just let me know, man.
Well, we thank you for your time.
Thank you so very much.
Tell your wife we said hello.
And thank you for
hey, take it easy, bro. Tell my wife I said hello.
Hello.
Hey, well, she just bought me some Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
There you go.
Hey, you're a hell of a woman, Liz. I'm telling you right now.
Well, we thank you very much for coming on the show.
I thank you. Make sure everybody click that subscribe button down below. Share the page. This was Shawn Hernandez, Impact Lucha Underground superstar.
Anytime you get a chance to see him, make sure you go out there and support him.
Check him out. Check out Homicide as well.
Buy his shirt.
Buy his shirt.
I got kids, so please buy my merch.
Buy his merch. Make sure you click subscribe. Make sure you check us out on Facebook at That Way Cool Wrestling Show. And obviously go to thatwaycoolwrestlingshow.com. All the shows are up there as well. So for Shawn Hernandez, who is now stuffing his face, Jackson, and we got Charles Gemini Gregory. My name is Danny J. Until next time, we'll see you. Well, I'm stalling now because my shit's not working.
Boost Mobile, right?
There we go. We'll see you. Goodbye.
That cricket shit, dude.
Dude, thanks very much. We appreciate it.
Bro, thank you guys. You guys were awesome, man. Much appreciated. Thank you for having me.